Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, it's a brisk 23 degrees this morning, and I don't feel like working in the cold. The high today is going to be 30. That just makes my old bones ache. So I'm out here in the workshop. Just because there's not one thing going on doesn't mean that there are 10 more that needs to happen. Okay, that's the way a homestead works. There's always something to do. So every day you've got something to do. Alright, might not be a big something, but you've got something to do. And you'll feel better if you get out and do it. So, on this tractor shed build, I know coming up, when I start putting the siding up, I'm going to have to rip some of these boards that I'm going to put on. I know I'm going to have to do that, but I've got a little problem. My saw uses these. Now, I've got an old Craftsman saw. I think I bought this, or maybe Mom bought it. I don't remember. But somebody bought this saw back in probably about 1989, 1990, something like that. 2000, 2010, 2020, so it's over 30 years old. Same motor. Same everything. I did have to buy a new motor mount for it. I tried to make a motor mount and it just kept bending. I didn't have the right kind of steel to do that. So, but these are plastic. They're hard to come by. A matter of fact, they're almost impossible to come by. So what I need to do is I need to make something that'll raise and lower my saw. Now there's one on the other side that tilts the saw, and then there's one that raises and lowers it. Well, the one that tilts the saw is seldom ever used. So back when the first one broke some years ago, I just put a pair of vice grips on the tilt one and turn it with a pair of vice grips, because how often do you tilt your table saw? I seldom ever tilt mine. Sometimes I do, but very seldom ever do I tilt the blade. But raise the blade up and down, I do it every time I saw something. So I had taken the tilt handle, which is this one, I had taken the tilt handle and put it on the, because these handles were identical, and put it on the raise and lower handle, raise and lower part. Well, guess what? This one's broke. Okay? It's like a socket. This center section is like a socket, a 5/8 socket to be exact. It fits over a little nut that's on the place where you turn the saw, and it's broke. It's broke out. You can see, I pulled it up there. You can see that the socket is no longer feasible to hold a nut. So I've thought about a lot of things to do. First off, I thought I would cut a piece of wood and hand cut a socket to go in here, and then put it in, cut this out, and then glue it in. But I'm afraid that might not hold. Well, the next thought was take a 5/8 socket, cut this out, put it in there, put some screws and some glue, and maybe that would be the trick. But the truth is, this is a whole lot thinner in here, right there, from here to here, than a socket. So I'm afraid that that won't work. So I've come upon what I think is a solution. So I'm going to take, and I've got a whole bunch of barrels that have that food grade, those food grade blue barrels, you know what I'm talking about? Those food grade blue barrels, I've got a whole bunch of those, and I think I can melt and pour me a socket in here. And I'm going to bring you along for the ride. Hopefully it works. It might not work. It might be a total failure. I've never done it before. Okay. Okay, here's my blue barrel. It's actually half a barrel. Now what I do with these is I get them a lot of times for $5 a piece. They're food grade. I cut them in half. I put mesh down in the bottom of them, or just a board with a hole cut in it, and I make earth boxes out of them, and I use them to grow things, just like a plant bed. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe I'll show you one day. But these have a melting temperature of around 350 degrees. So what I would like to do is cut some pieces off of this and melt them. But now, cutting pieces is not a big deal. Let me show you. Here's a jigsaw with just a wood cutting blade. We plug it in here. Get in there. See, they're not hard to cut, okay? And look how smooth that cut is. So, it's possible that I could use this just like it is and just cut a 5/8 bolt hole here and then glue it in. But I want to try and melt it. So, I'm going to get a few more pieces of this so that I know I have enough. I think that's enough right there to do that entire piece, but okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut some more. You don't need to watch me cut. Got a pot, something to melt them in. Now, just so you know, I picked this up at the Salvation Army store. I know you think, well, that's for poor people. Let me tell you, the cash that the Salvation Army store gets, okay, is used for poor people. Okay, that may be one of the most important things they get is cash out of the Salvation Army store. Okay, they give away the stuff to poor people. So Salvation Army stores for people like me and you who have a little and can get it, can pay for it. So got this Salvation Army store as well as the little oven that I'm going to use today. This was $1. The oven was $8. So we're going to use it to make a $50 part. Alright. Now, I've got these, but the problem is, see that? They're dirty. So what I want to do, I don't have no water out here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to pour a little water in my pan. I'll dry it up in a minute. Pour a little water in my pan. Take a sock. Don't throw away your old socks. You can use them in your shop all the time. They're always valuable. Okay? Get a little water. Wash that baby right up. Just so you know, these blue barrels are white on the inside. Okay? Don't ask me why, I don't know. But they make them blue on the other side. I guess what they do is they just make the color out here, but if you look, there's a good good line discerning the two. So they make the outside and the inside and they stick them together. So that's one clean. Okay, here's my little $8 toaster oven. It's set on bake. Right now it's off. I'm going to use the timer. I'm going to set the timer, but I'm going to watch for when everything comes up to temperature and pay attention so that I don't burn this stuff up. Now, I just put it in the pan. Make sure the pan fits, which it does. And I'm going to get out my welding gloves. Okay? Because I'll need to get that in and out and stir it and stuff as this goes on. So, put it in there. Bake it at 350. And now I'm going to tell it to stay on. And now we wait. Okay, while we're waiting, I got these. I got this, and what this is going to do is, let me take this off. Once the plastic is soft enough to squish down in here, okay, then I'll take this, put a nut on it, put a 5/8 nut, okay, like that. I'll put a washer over it, and then pull that up like that, put another washer, and then I'll tighten down this to squish that nut down into the plastic. Okay? Hopefully I can get it out when it's all said and done. But that just remains to be seen. Alright. But before I can do any of that, this broken plastic around here has got to go. Let's see what I can do. Oh, that broke out just good. Okay, that worked out pretty good. Is there plenty of room there for that to sit? Yep. Now, what I'll do is I'll fill this entire thing with this plastic. And that way it goes in between these ribs that are here. Okay, and the ribs can act as something to hold it still when I try and turn it. And it should hold more. This is going to be more like a washer. I don't expect this plastic to stick to this. Okay? It'll be more like a washer that's molded to fit down in here just perfectly. Alright? So, now this HDPE plastic melts somewhere between 210 and 270 degrees C. So, I'm hoping this goes up to 450. I think it goes up to, let's see what it says. Yeah, it'll go up to 450 degrees. I'm hoping that that's enough. It may not be enough to melt this plastic, but I'm hoping it'll make it soft and malleable enough that I can use it for this purpose. So, remains to be seen. Alright, letting it go. It's up to it's almost up to 350. Oh, yeah, it is up to 350. So now I'll push it up to 400. And we'll just keep raising the temperature and letting it all come up to temperature until the thermostat turns it off. And then I'll just keep raising it. Okay, we're up to about 410 degrees. 410 degrees is the low end melting point of HDPE. So, I'm going to pull that over here and let's have a look and see if it's starting to melt. I'll move this stuff out of the way. Get my welding gloves on. Now I've just got a little putty knife, okay, to stir this with. So may stick to it so bad I can't use it. I don't know. I've never done this before. Alright. Got my welding gloves on. Open this up. Pull that out. Okay, if you'll look, it is starting to melt. Okay, it's really soft and pliable, but it's not really melting yet. Okay, this sticks in real easy. So let's get it back in there and let it go for longer. It is smoking a little bit though, but that may be something on it. I hope it's not toxic. Okay, HDPE plastic is supposed to be safe to burn, but that stuff was putting off quite a bit of fumes. So rather than risk my health, I took the whole thing outside and I'll let it bake off out there. They say it's non-toxic, but the smell is kind of aggravating to me, so I don't want that. So for my health, and if you do it for your health, melt it outside or use a chemical gas mask. I can't use a chemical mask because I get same reason I can't use the thing that for sleep apnea, the CPAP. I can't use it. I get claustrophobic. So yeah, it's outside now. Okay, now for the $1,000,000 question. Is it soft enough to mold? This has been about an hour and a half that it's been in the oven, and I'm up to 450. Of course, you can see it's smoking. So I've got this ready to go. I've got my other stuff ready to go. So let's see if this will mold. It cuts easy, but whether or not it will mold is another subject. Put that right there. See if I can push this through it. Went right through. That. Come on. Faster. Faster. Okay. Now I'll try and cut off the excess. that one come off. Tighten that back down some more. Okay, that's about as tight as I'm going to be able to get it. So, let's unplug and let everything cool off. Go back in the warm and relax a little bit, and then we'll check this. Okay, we've cooled to the point that the plastic is hard. This is really hard right here. So, let's get this apart. I can touch it. Okay, so I know if I can touch it that this plastic is probably as hardened as it's going to get. So let's take this off and see if we can get this thing apart. I may have boogered it all to where you can't get it apart. I've never done this before. Now, if this doesn't work, I'll have to make one of these out of wood. I've got some oak out there. There's that off. Now, let's see if I can get this out. That's not good. Now, let's see if I can unscrew it. That may be what has to happen. Oh, that's exactly what has to happen. Hope I can get the nut out. If I can get the nut out, this might be a success. I can't tell if it's done much in there. Let's see if I can get that nut out. Yep, look at there. Okay, you see how it is? That might work. I've got to do some cleanup right here and clean that out, but I think I can just put a bit in the drill and clean and just drill that part out. I'm gonna go do that, and then we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it does on the saw. Okay, I've got it cut down. It's a little off center. Kind of worried about that, but we're going to try it. Let's go over here and put it on the saw. Okay, let's tighten it down with an Allen wrench. Yep, that's the right Allen wrench. See if it'll work. Nope. The plastic is too soft. Okay. Well, poop. Failure. failure. You learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. This HDPE plastic is not going to be tough enough to use to form to make this kind of stuff. So, okay, let's see if I can get it out of there. Ow, pinch my finger. No, I can't pull it out. Now, leave it in the comments what you think I ought to try next. This didn't work. And it's okay that it didn't work, okay? This is plenty solid in there. Alright? But the kind of plastic was just not stout enough to allow me to turn that nut while it was in there. And if I'm looking, see here, look at that. That plastic cracked. See, big crack right there. See it? Right where my finger is. A big crack. When it cooled, that plastic cracked. And I think that made this open up more. And that's why it won't hold on to the nut. Yeah. So I'll have to come up with something else to work on this. I would love suggestions. Leave them in your comments. Now if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now if you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll be right up there. It'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to work on something different.